Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to be doing a brief stock analysis of DraftKings, and this is not so much going to be a deep dive into their financials, but more so me talking about the company a little bit and giving a general outlook for the industry. Here I'm taking a look at the year-to-date chart, and we could see that it was at about 1070 at the beginning of the year, which for most stocks right now, the vast majority, that's when stocks were at their previous high, was in January, but with DraftKings, they were just at their previous high at the very beginning of July. Or maybe it was the late end of June, but they were at just about $45. So while the market has been doing really terribly, DraftKings has been doing really amazing since their IPO at the end of last year. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the stock, but just to get a little bit more familiar with the company, they're probably the biggest in sports betting right now, and they are really big in over a dozen different sports, which you don't necessarily always see. And they have over 10 million registered users, $7 billion paid out, and increasing every single day. And they're the #1 rated and biggest sports betting app. And for those of you who may have used sports betting apps in the past, but have not used DraftKings, this is probably why they're a lot better than a lot of their competition out there, and it's because you can draft a new lineup whenever you want, pick from your favorite stars every week, play in a public contest or against your friends in a private league. It doesn't have to be public or private. It can be either or, and then quickly enter a contest anytime before a lineup lock, and then lastly, win cash prizes every week paid out as soon as the contest ends, so you're not going to be tied up in the cash pool for weeks. And here we have a nice chart here projecting the growth of overall sports betting here, and I'm sorry it's kind of small and got cut off, but here in blue we have casino sports betting, and then in red retail sports betting, and then in green we have fantastic growth of online sports betting, specifically apps. And this is actually projecting growth of casino sports betting, which I don't necessarily know if I agree with, but what's really huge is the online sports betting, which I think DraftKings, is in the best position to capitalize on that growth by far. And when I say they're in the by far the best position to capitalize on that growth, their biggest competitor is FanDuel. In fact, FanDuel and DraftKings together combine control about 90% of the market. And they were actually approved to go in a merger between the two companies in 2016, but then it was actually disproved a year later or 6 months later because they would have controlled 90% of the market. So now FanDuel is much bigger in casinos, but not quite as big of a presence in online sports betting or on their app. And that's really where all the growth is and why DraftKings is in much better of a position than FanDuel is. And then really interestingly here, I wanted to take a look at their last 2 quarters. So in quarter 4 of 2019, they had massive negative earnings, which is fine. They had a relatively recent IPO. And then in quarter 1 of 2020, pretty much completely net zero revenue and earnings. They had slight revenue, but just about zero earnings. And we really have to expect the same thing for quarter 2 of 2020, just because there haven't been many sports to bet on recently. There's over a dozen sports that you can bet on DraftKings, and I can't say that they've all been not currently going, but a lot of them have been closed because of COVID. So in quarter 3 and quarter 4, as all of the sports continue their regular seasons, well, not completely normal, but you know what I mean, I think as DraftKings gets a couple of positive earning quarters, which may not be this year, but we may see that in the first couple of quarters in 2021. Then we're going to see the stock continue to really increase. And lastly, I just wanted to say that they do not have a monopoly just because there's a ridiculous amount of sports betting apps out there. I think there's something like 1,000 of them, which is just ridiculous, but they are by far the biggest in the amount of payouts that they have, as well as the number of users. And with the online growth that they do have, I could say that in a way they are a monopoly, which is really great for investors if you ask me. Alright, I know that was a pretty brief video. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or want to talk about anything. Subscribe for more content. I've done a ton of other brief stock analysis videos similar to this one, and thank you so much for watching.